Hello everyone and welcome to another Odoo 19 tutorial. In today's video, we'll look at how to configure fixed assets and automate asset creation through vendor bills. We'll begin by creating an asset model, configure the required accounting settings, and finally see how Odoo automatically creates an asset when a vendor bill is posted. So let's get started. First, let's quickly understand what an asset model is. An asset model is essentially a reusable template that stores the accounting configuration for similar assets. For example, assume your organization is purchasing laptops, desktop printers, monitors, etc. So instead of configuring each asset individually, you can create a single asset and reuse it. Although it is optional, that is, you can do the configuration directly on individual assets instead of using the asset model. It is the recommended approach because you don't have to do the same configuration again and again. So it reduces the manual effort and maintains consistency. So let's go and create an asset model. The navigation is you go to the accounting app, configuration, and then asset models. And click on new. So I'm going to be creating an IT equipments model. And in this part, we are going to set the accounting configuration. Keep in mind that this fixed asset account will only be visible if you are in the developer field, as you can see here from this small icon. Okay, so now let's set the fixed asset account. I already created one, which is IT equipments. And in the depreciation account, I'm going to set IT equipments depreciation account. Both of these are fixed asset types. Okay. Now in the expense account, I'm going to set the depreciation account. And this is type depreciation. Okay, this is very important. Now let's go back to our asset model. So this is created. And here you can set whichever method you want. That is straight line, declining, or declining then straight line. And you can set the duration as well. You can set the journal as assets, which I created. This is type miscellaneous. And another important thing to notice is the fixed asset account. So let's just click on the internal link. And in the automation, you have to set the automate asset as create in draft. And here in the asset model, select your IT equipments. So this automate asset is set as create in draft because this automatically creates the asset in draft whenever the vendor bill is posted, allowing us to review and validate it before the depreciation begins. You can also choose create and validate. This will validate the asset immediately after the vendor bill is confirmed. And if you want each purchased item to be tracked separately, you have to enable manage items. For example, if you are purchasing 3 laptops and you want them to be created as 3 different assets instead of one asset, then you have to enable manage items. Now let's click on save. And now we can go and create our vendor bill. Let's go to vendors and bills and create a new vendor bill. Going to add the label as Lenovo laptop and an HD printer. Set the price for the laptop as 50,000. This will be 35,000. The most important thing you have to notice here is the account mapping. Since we want both of these to create 2 assets, I'm going to map the account as IT equipment account, which we just created. Now, let me just set the bill date and let's click on confirm. You can see in the smart button here that 2 assets are created. So let's click on it. And both of them are in the draft state. So let's check the Lenovo laptop. As you can see, the 50,000 rupees has been fetched from the vendor bill and all of the accounts are mapped from the asset model. and the journal is assets. You can also change the duration here if you want it to be 5 or 10 years or whichever value. And then this acquisition date will be 14 July. It is the date on which the vendor bill was created. So if you want a different date, you need to specify it here. And in the bills, you can see that the bill through which the asset was created, that bill is automatically being mapped here. Once everything is correct, let's click on confirm. And you can see a depreciation board has appeared here. 6 different journal entries are created here. Since our total value of the asset was 50,000 and it was for a duration of 5 years, it was supposed to be 10,000 for each year. But since we have created this in July and the depreciation is calculated from 31st March, that is why the first value is 7,150. If you add this value and the last value, you can see that it adds up to 10,000. So all of these are unposted journal entries and they will only be posted on the specified date. We can just go to accounting journal entries, remove the posted filter from here, and you can see all of the unposted journal entries. You can click on this. You can see that this move is configured to be posted automatically on this date. So you don't have to worry about anything. All of the depreciation, the entries, all of them will be posted on the appropriate date. And that's how you configure fixed assets and automate asset creation through vendor bills in Odoo 19. Using asset models helps standardize your configuration, while automatic asset creation reduces the manual effort and simplifies fixed asset management. So that's all for this video. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one.